Wednesday, the August 12th, Planning and Economic Development Committee meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask the clerk to conduct a roll call.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Bateman, Councillor Campion, Councillor Foster,
Present.
Councillor Ganan, Councillor Greenwood,
Present.
Acting Regional Chair Encina,
Present.
Councillor Jordan, Councillor Junkin, Councillor Kaiser,
Present.
Councillor Morocco,
Present.
Councillor Olson,
Present.
Councillor Redicott, Councillor Cisco, Councillor Steele, Councillor Ugolini,
Present.
Councillor Woodavine.
Present, thank you.
And we have regrets today from Councillors Badaway and Rigby, Chair.
Thank you.
And Councillor Jordan's here. Excuse me. Thank you.
Niagara region is situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Adirondack, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The regional municipality of Niagara stands with all Indigenous peoples, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands on which we live. I'll ask now if there are any disclosures of pecuniary interest for any items before us today. Seeing none. We have a delegation with us today. It's about the affordable, attainable housing. Before I call on our delegates respecting this affordable and attainable housing, I want to remind the delegates of their 10-minute time limit and for the presentation. Discussion and questions must be conducted through the chair and done so in a respectful manner. We will take questions after hearing from the delegates. I'll call on John Armstrong and Thomas Richardson, Community Land Trust of Niagara, for their delegation. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is John Armstrong, and I'm here representing the Community Land Trust of Niagara. And we're here just to inform Regional Council about community land trusts, what they are, what they're doing, sort of what the movement is all about. So that way, when you're working on your housing initiatives and your housing efforts, you've got an understanding of what the land trust is, what it could do, and the role that it can play. So, according to the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, a land trust is a nonprofit corporation created to acquire and hold land for a community. In our case, we're doing it to build and acquire affordable housing and maintain that ownership within the not-for-profit in perpetuity in order to maintain that affordability. Basically, our goal is to be a non-market housing developer and maintain that and then maintain that housing in perpetuity affordably. How do we do what we do? Well, first off, there are about 47 of them across Ontario. Actually, I think the number's around 50 now. We work with governments, community groups, developers, as well as financial institutions, anybody who's got a stake in affordable housing, because basically you can't build affordable housing on your own anymore. It simply can't be done. It needs the support of governments. It needs the support of the private sector, the public sector. It needs the support of a lot of different stakeholders if we're going to be able to build affordable housing and maintain that affordability. Interestingly, actually 25 years ago, I remember when the Niagara Community Foundation was being set up originally. And it was I was working with the Niagara Credit Union at the time, And it was actually a movement that was starting to move across the country. That community foundations were really a new piece of social infrastructure that would enable the creation of endowments for communities to then fund in perpetuity charities. So that 25 years ago started with the community foundation with $200,000 gifts, and as you probably know, today it has $100 million in assets. So what we really feel, and what I've certainly witnessed across the country, is that the land trusts are another piece of community infrastructure, not unlike the community foundation, that are moving across the country as new pieces of social infrastructure to build and maintain affordable housing. Why now? I don't have to tell you folks why now. That's for sure. It's been in response to the affordable housing crisis, and as I said, we can't do this alone. It requires a lot of heavy lifting. It requires a lot of partnerships, and there has been a loss of affordable housing of the affordable housing stock. Our goal, which I'll probably talk about in a future slide, our goal is to not only build affordable housing, but also to prevent rent evictions and acquire of affordable housing and maintain that affordability. Again, I don't have to tell you folks about this, but we saw rapid increases in rent 2022, particularly to 2024. Continuing 2025, things have softened and modified a little bit in 2026, but the numbers were still unaffordable at that time. Then you had the escalation, and they remain unaffordable today. One of the slides, actually, I don't have in this presentation, just in the interest of time, but I do like to talk about it. I do like to put the Niagara Regional Housing wait list slide up that basically shows how long the wait lists are for people for affordable housing or for Niagara Regional Housing. And they've got numbers like one-bedroom apartments, like 8 years. We know that that's and higher. We know that that's a made-up number. We know that the person at the bottom of that list is never going to get a place, like they're never getting a place. So the position that the Community Land Trust of Niagara takes, when we were doing our research and we were looking at what kind of an organization should we become, recognizing the value of this new piece of social infrastructure, when talking with Niagara Regional Housing, they said we have a lot of people whose circumstances have changed to such a great extent that they don't really need to be in Niagara Regional Housing anymore. So they said to us, if you're going to be building housing, build that next phase of housing, that next stage of housing for those people to move into, so that way we can fill our deeply affordable housing units up with people who actually need them. And so that's what we're doing. Our piece is that 80% of median market rent, that piece that's just below market rent, with the goal of, that's the kind of housing that your children, looking around how old everybody's in the room, your children and potentially your grandchildren, and in many cases your parents might be moving into. The vision and the mission, I think, is self-evident. One of the things I do like to talk about is we've built a really strong blue chip board in terms of making helping the organization get grounded, get off its feet, demonstrate the level of seriousness with which that we're operating and with which that we're functioning. So you can feel the credibility and the competence of the group, and believe me, they're a competent, tough, strong group. So we have great discussions to make sure that we're acting the way we should be acting, and we're going to be successful. Again, that's just talking about what our three pillars are: building affordable housing, protecting the existing affordable housing stock, and then the land trust doesn't want to. We don't want to operate the buildings. Our goal, like I said, is to be nonprofit or non-market housing developers. So we'll be working with other housing organizations in order to operate them. People who are housing organizations that already know what they're doing. Our goal is to just be that builder. And so it's to build those assets, like I was talking about with the community foundation, build that asset base, that we can then continually leverage to continually build. And if we follow a traditional building, a traditional developer model, we can actually create sustainability through that model and continue to build. How do we acquire property? Obviously, we receive donations, government programs, Build Canada Homes. The region, we have applied for your rental housing incentive application. Just so you're aware, that's not why I'm here today. But working with governments and interested organizations, community bonds are also something that are beginning to move as part of this. As part of this social infrastructure, where you can the land trust can create community bonds and sell those to members of the community who want to do something about housing but don't have a lot of access or a lot of opportunity to be able to participate. Community bonds give them give that opportunity. So I'll tell you about our first project that we have that we're hopeful for. It's a long road for anybody who's been involved in housing. It's challenging. It's on Crowther Avenue in Welland, and it's a community housing continuum project. It has our unit has 43 units. They're in that affordable, attainable category. Corresponding to that, and in the spirit of the partnership that we were talking about, we've also partnered with Second Story Community Homes, formerly Bethlehem Housing, who have a sister property or a sister building proposed across an unopened street allowance. It's got 40 units. The two projects have been packaged together for Build Canada Homes for 83. I think it's 83 units, not 84. I apologize for that. And that gives us that they're more deeply affordable with supports, and you can feel the continuum. And then ours is the affordable attainable piece. We have the support of the City of Welland. The City of Welland has sold us the land selling us the land, sorry, for $3. For the Second Story, they're leasing the land for $1. The City of Welland normally likes to lease the land when they're dealing with affordable housing projects. For us, they've agreed to sell us the property because they understand the model of creating that asset base and being able to leverage that asset base over time. So this is just a list of all the various partners or stakeholders as well that we're working with and hoping to continue to work with. Rankin Construction is our constructor and our continue to be a great support in the work that we're doing in our applications to Build Canada Homes. How can you help? Well, obviously we're always looking for gifts of land. We're always looking for support. That's not as much as why I'm here today, as much as just really to make sure that everybody understands what the potential and the opportunity is for the Community Land Trust of Niagara in helping to meet that need of affordable, and particularly that affordable attainable level, which is really a gap in our housing in our housing infrastructure. And so with that, I will thank you and am open to questions.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for our presenter today? Councillor Witteveen, you're first, please.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair, to John. Great presentation, thank you. And I think it's a great another piece of the puzzle for housing strategy. So my question this afternoon was, could you give us an idea where you are in the stage of the project that you spoke about in Welland, and if you have if there's any others or if there are any other projects in Niagara that you've worked on, or if this is the first one?
This is our first project. We've applied to Build Canada Homes. We've had a couple of meetings with Build Canada Homes that the staff have liked where the project is at this point, and they've brought it forward to their selection committee to see if it's a project that they want to support. We've had good support from Meridian Credit Union on the financing. I always get the acronym wrong. It's the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, LMI, I think is what it is. It's just their preferable housing rental rate. So I think it's a 40 to 50 year amortization. So we're in good shape with Meridian Credit Union. We also have tremendous support in an impact investment from the Niagara Community Foundation to the tune of about $650,000, and as well. Let's see if that's it. And then we've got the gift of land as well as the additional supports from the city of Welland to the tune of about $120,000 in incentives and waived fees. So that's where we're at on this project.
Okay, thank you for that, John, and through you, Madam Chair, to John, when do you feel is a timeline that these units would come online? Like, how far down the road do you see this kind of, being completed so you can build on that success?
Yeah, a lot's dependent on a few things, but we're hoping for a couple of years is about what it's going to take, which is quite frankly why we also want to be moving into the acquisition strategy as well, because we know we need the housing now. So maintaining the housing stock is another key component on the acquisition side. The acquisition side can get us into the game, also generate some additional cash flow for us, and we're looking at some other smaller projects, but we're in early stages of smaller projects.
Okay, through you, Madam Chair, to John, thank you for that, and I have no further questions.
Thank you. Next, we have Acting Chair Encina.
Thank you, Chair. How does an agency or how does a government get involved with this? What's the process?
The process, we've had some good conversations with staff. We've had good conversations with your housing people. We've had good conversations with, I think you're attainable housing. Is that what you are, Cheryl? Mm-hmm. So we've had good early conversations, good conversations with them as well as Niagara Regional Housing. So actually, from a region standpoint, although you have to make decisions around priorities, of course, and other projects, and I know Niagara Regional Housing, for example, also have their own projects that they're working on too. So that's a bit of a tricky balance. But we have had tremendous engagement actually with Niagara Regional staff to date on a number of different levels. Everybody's been very receptive and quite frankly innovative. We've had some conversations with some particular innovations that we're not quite. We haven't quite been able to bring to fruition because we still have to do a little bit of work on them, but we've experienced a tremendous conversations and receptiveness from Niagara, region of Niagara.
Through you, Chair, have you approached any municipalities yet?
Outside of Welland, we're doing the rounds of these presentations. We've presented to Pelham, we've presented to Waynfleet. We presented to Niagara Falls yesterday. We actually have every municipality on the roster over the course of the fall, and to Lincoln Council. Actually, we presented to Lincoln Council a few weeks ago to their housing committee, and then they invited us back to present to council because they have one project in the center of town. On the old high school property that I don't know what this as a result of, but I think sort of compounding into their last meeting of the session, they brought forward and asked based on that idea of that affordable, attainable position to add affordable housing into that project, and council fully endorsed that project.
Thank you. One more, just another question through you, Chair. Do you oversee the construction? Do you have the project managers that oversee this, or you farm that out?
We'll be farming that out for the time being. But quite frankly, our goal is to build that expertise, because when you think about it, when you have a look around, most executive directors of housing organizations and charities and not-for-profits who are interested in housing, their executive director might have one project in them. right? So what our goal is to build up that critical mass of skills and expertise that will allow us to basically work with those organizations, with them not having to build up that level of expertise. And so getting into the project management component is something that's certainly on the table.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Councillor Ugalini.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to John. Have you approached Thorold Municipal Nonprofit Housing?
We have met with we've met with Thorold. We had a great discussion with Thorold. I can't remember a number of months ago, and we were basically we were chatting with them about the receptivity that Welland has exhibited in terms of their approach. They expressed a lot of receptivity to that. We will be presenting to Thorold. I can't remember when the date is. I think it was they had you guys have a report that was going to be presented. I think it's on from your housing committee. I think it was going to be this month. Now I think it's been pushed back into September. Maybe I think I've got my municipality right.
Maybe September, mid-September
Yeah.
is the next. Yeah, we had a meeting last night. So.
Yeah.
No, because that might be an opportunity between us and the Municipal Nonprofit Housing, so that's
Yeah.
why I asked. Okay, thank you.
Definitely on the agenda.
Thank you. Next, we have Councillor Campion.
Thanks, Chair. Nice to see John again and hearing the presentation. Unfortunately, I got a call right partially through your presentation. So through the chair, John, if you've already mentioned this, then you can just tell me that because we don't have to repeat it. But one of the significant features that I felt you folks brought to the table was the actual organization and structure that you put together. And part of that is, which is very impressive and I think a little bit unique, is kind of the value add. I'm going to use industrial terms because I'm an industrial kind of guy, but the value added features associated with your partners and bringing partners together. If you've already talked about that, just say so. But my question is, each one of those partners brings something unique to the table and makes it an interesting concept. So do you have any kind of comment that, because I really think that's an important part of it, but if you've already said that, but bringing these partners together, they all have something that's very special that comes to the table, which in my mind it was a significant factor in getting us in on the project.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, the building affordable housing is hard. It takes a lot of partners. It takes a lot of innovation, and then you're dealing with funding programs that are shifting and changing. I mean, we've been through a change in government through this period, and the change in the housing program from the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation to the Build Canada Homes project organization, which turned out to be very different programs, and then of course us, like a number of other housing organizations across the country. Build Canada Homes was announced. Everybody wants to be first and wants to be in early. But there's been no criteria that are established, and so everybody uses the Build Canada Homes criteria. Well, they turn out to be completely different criteria. So there's a lot of moving pieces. And to your point, Your Worship, there are a lot of partners that are required in order to make these fundable. In fact, if you look at the way Build Canada Homes describes what they're talking about, they've moved from, when it was Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, they'd fund 85% of a project. Build Canada Homes, on the other hand, says we're the last mile. Oh, how big's the last mile? Well, they won't say. And they're particularly focused on the idea of, well, what's your capital stack? And we're like, what's a capital stack? And that's just basically the layering on of partners and programs and funding so they can fund, quite frankly, as little as they need to, because there's a lot of need throughout the country. So to your point, the partnerships and the relationships and the layered dollars are critically important if we're actually going to be successful. You need it anyway. And then the way that it's structured right now from the government perspective, they're looking for it. They're looking for it too. So and that's why quite frankly the support from the city of Welland has been outstanding. So.
Thank you, Chair, and through the Chair. So thank you for those comments. And I think that's a really important component. And I do want to say that your work with our staff and our Affordability Advisory Committee and Council is working out very well. So I appreciate the concept, I appreciate the programs, and I appreciate that you're partnering with us as well as another value-added partner to the whole process. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Councillor Redicott.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you very much, Mr. Armstrong, for the presentation. So this really boils down to affordable housing units being constructed by a nonprofit by basically eliminating the profit aspect of housing.
Yeah, it's eliminating the profit aspect of housing, but what it's also doing, I mean, when I say that you can't do it alone, what it's also doing is it's opening up additional kinds of envelopes, whether it's funding, whether it's gifts of land, whether it's charitable donations, whether it's community bonds. I mean, basically the job is the more monies that we can get towards the build, then the lower down we can bring the rents. So it's not just the profit aspect, because quite frankly, as a housing organization, ultimately we need to have surpluses. I mean, if we operate with no surpluses, that means we're operating with deficits, and that means we're going to be going out of business because we can't maintain we can't maintain the housing that we've got. So what we would really be doing, though, instead of having a profit that would go to investors, the surpluses would then be recirculated and re-leveraged and used to do new builds and to do new building.
Thank you very much.
Are there any other folks that would like to speak to the delegate? Seeing none, Mr. Armstrong, thank you so much for your very interesting presentation today.
Thank you. Can I do one last thing?
Absolutely.
I did not introduce my board colleague, Tom Richardson, although he's very familiar with this chamber, I'm sure. He's a solid part of the board, and he's the caliber of person that we know we can create a legacy that has the strength of the Niagara Community Foundation through the Community Land Trust. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we did see him sneaking in the back there, so welcome as well. So we have no items for consideration, and moving on to 6.1, we do have Blake Landry, Manager, Research and Analyst, David Adams, CEO, Niagara Parks Commission, and Daryl McMillan, President and CEO of Tourism Partnership of Niagara, for their presentation respecting Niagara Tourism Data Dashboard. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Chair and committee. My name is Daryl McMillan. As Chair mentioned, I have the privilege of serving as President and CEO of Tourism Partnership of Niagara, or TPN. We are funded and recognized by the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Gaming as Niagara's official regional tourism organization, or in ministry parlance, RTO2. We serve with a mandate to strengthen and grow the visitor economy and to create tourism employment opportunities with a strategy that's developed locally here in Niagara. In 2025, TPN began implementation of a new 3-year strategic plan, setting us up for a significant organizational shift toward fully embracing destination management, whereas previously focused almost exclusively on marketing. Through this shift, we embraced three key values as an organization: leadership, collaboration, and intelligence. I'm here today with my colleagues to present a collaborative initiative that embodies this new direction and values, the Niagara Tourism Data Dashboard. We work closely with partners across Niagara region, including operators, municipalities, and the upper tier municipality as well. Niagara Parks and Niagara Economic Development are two examples of partners that share some complementary area of focus of our investment attraction mandates. Each organization possesses data assets, capacity, and expertise, and has a shared recent history of collaboration. With the province's announcement in December 2025 of the Destination Niagara strategy, this presents a unique opportunity to seize on current momentum while aligning efficiencies. At a high level, tourism generates $3.8 billion in annual visitor spend in Niagara, supporting more than 36,000 jobs across some 4,000 businesses. In recent years, tourism has seen its fair share of challenges, but proven to be remarkably resilient. According to recent Destination Canada research, Canada's tourism sector is projected to grow at 5.3% annually through 2030, well ahead of the overall economy at 3.7%, reinforcing its role as a high-growth, fast-return economic driver. Recent TPN research has consistently identified a high demand for reliable and consistent tourism data. To maintain its competitive advantage, Niagara's tourism operators need accurate, high-frequency data for better informed decision-making. With that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague David Adames from Niagara Parks.
Thank you, Daryl, through the chair. Thanks so much for allowing us to be here today. And this is really filling a need. When we talk about tourism investment, tourism attraction, data is so important. And this new partnership will establish a region-wide, data-driven approach to measuring and understanding the impact of Niagara's tourism industry that Daryl was just describing. And if we're going to collectively achieve the aspirational goals of the Destination Niagara strategy, we need to make data-based decisions regarding, again, investment attraction, appealing to visitors, and encouraging that investment that we have seen and continue to see across Niagara. And having that reliable, consistent, and comparable data will help support an aligned approach to tourism investment, product development, and strategic planning. On the next slide. And sorry, Daryl, I should have...
You might be two back now, David.
Yeah. So we'll go to that. That's okay. So we do want to position Niagara as a leader in tourism intelligence. And this collaboration, again, that Daryl and Blake will be speaking to in a moment as well, we each bring our own expertise to the table. So for Niagara Parks, we are a key demand generator already. We have direct data as a tourism operator. We operate attractions and restaurants, golf courses, parking and transportation services, heritage sites, restaurants, and the like. So again, we have direct data that we can be sharing into the dashboard. And Blake does an outstanding job taking data from international, national, provincial, and regional sources. And again, having the leadership now of Tourism Partnership of Niagara as part of their strategic plan, we each bring, again, that role to the data dashboard. So looking forward, we've already started to lay the foundation in terms of looking at the data sets we already have. And again, we'll continue to build on that. We'll be sharing the information with other tourism operators. I suspect there'll be some others who will want to participate as this matures and moves forward. So I'm confident the dashboard will become an important tool for tourism operators, industry partners, and decision makers across multiple levels of government. And we are always asked and consistently asked, what is the data and what is the data telling us? And as we all know, data tells a story. So I think as this dashboard evolves, we'll have lots of stories to share with council going forward. So with that, I'm going to turn to Blake Landry, who's going to talk about the implementation roadmap.
So, work to date. Currently, we have the initial concept development and internal validation. So there is a need. We're almost through actually developing the dashboard itself. We hope for a September launch of the first quarter. It will be a quarterly dashboard, so updated at a quarterly basis. We've identified the core data sources and have prepared those into the dashboard format. We've reviewed all of the agreements and subscriptions among all of the different data vendors. So there's a lot of licenses and legal considerations around creating something like this because there is a lot of proprietary data, which is why it's been fragmented to date. So in terms of the data sources, we'll be looking at these particular vendors. As mentioned, each organization has access to different data sets, and what we're doing is bringing it together into one dashboard. And some of the characteristics we'll be looking at will include like visitation characteristics, expenditures, accommodation performance, hospitality development, climate, such as the environment, employment in tourism, tourism business counts, tourism-oriented inflation, retail sales, border crossing activity, investment in building construction, as well as creating a consistent glossary of terms. One issue in tourism is that people speak about it differently. What we're trying to do is create a single unified way to discuss and to assess the tourism environment in Niagara. So just to recap, the core value proposition is really common trusted evidence base that establishes a shared understanding of the regional tourism economy. It makes the tourism sector in Niagara more data-driven as opposed to anecdotal. It will help us measure progress, which is very important in relation to the Destination Niagara strategy. As mentioned, it will enable a common language around tourism. It will turn individual data into collective intelligence regionally. It will build regional capacity in tourism investment attraction and destination marketing. And it will help us strengthen the case for investment in Niagara. So we do receive quite a few tourism-oriented investment inquiries. This will help us be more capable and quicker to respond and manage those opportunities. In terms of confirmation of interest, though, as mentioned, there is a strong alignment with each organization's priorities, and there's an agreement on the inherent value of the product, and established commitment to sustaining the initiative going forward. So the proposed framework, ultimately the principles are collaboration and mutual benefit, data integrity and confidentiality. As I mentioned, there's a lot of proprietary data, and what we'll be doing is putting it in a format that allows us to share it more widely, which provides data into a lot more hands for people to make informed decisions. Transparency in use and reporting, so we're really clear in terms of what the data is, what it means, and it will be available for other organizations to help support their reporting activities. And lastly, each organization has a unique role in sustaining the product. As mentioned, the Tourism Partnership of Niagara will be responsible, will be kind of housing the project. It will be communicating and distributing the information on their newsletter and through their website. Niagara Parks will be supporting the initiative by providing their proprietary or their data, since they are the largest tourism kind of attraction operator in Niagara. And in terms of the regional Niagara Region Economic Development, we have expertise in the data analysis as well as the economic data that is used in combination with the tourism data to provide more insight into the tourism economy. So at this particular time, there is a need for a formal data agreement. As mentioned, we have taken an approach to the sensitive and proprietary data, and there will be a governance structure, which right now is a working group among the organizations involved. We're currently formalizing the agreement with a data sharing agreement, which is the best legal construct to formalize this type of collaboration. And in terms of final steps and implementation of the project, so we're currently finalizing the data sharing agreement, which will define the partnership and those roles and responsibilities. The data integration and dashboard build, so we expect that to be completed within the next couple of weeks. Internal launch and validation, so this will be a kind of a testing environment with some interested parties, which will allow us to kind of test and validate the product. And then lastly, we'll be launching it to external parties and the broader stakeholder community. One important note as well is that it's not going to be a static report. It will be iterative. We will be innovating it as we kind of proceed and move forward. There will be a feedback loop where we can incorporate new iterations and suggestions in terms of how we improve the product itself. And thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone with questions for our speakers? I am seeing Councillor Redicott.
Thank you, Chair. It's a very interesting proposal, and I think it's very progressive. Knowing that data, reliable, consistent data is important for organizations to make their decisions with respect to what they're going to do, their events, their investments. Have we determined at this stage, I know that you haven't got the partnership agreement fully worked out yet, has there been a determination as to who will be maintaining the dashboard and updating it?
So in terms of who will be maintaining it, updating it, as mentioned, so the TPN is responsible for communicating the dashboard. Niagara Region Economic Development is responsible for the data analysis, the preparation. However, the data comes from the various partners. So they'll be sending it to, it'll be myself doing the data preparation and analysis in collaboration with them. And also in each dashboard release, we will be providing some kind of key findings. So the key 5, let's say, findings that will provide kind of insight in terms of what the data says. As mentioned too, it'll be quarterly basis. So tourism in Niagara is very seasonal and it changes with the season. So that will also be reflected in this dashboard. And this type of intelligence hasn't really existed in this type of accessible manner.
Thank you very much. And Chair, just one final question. So as that dashboard is updated on a quarterly basis, that's information that will be made available to the region and the local municipalities if they wish?
Correct. It is public information. So the TPN does have committees. They do work with all of the destination marketing organizations. And one thing this dashboard will have that we've never really had before is actually a breakdown on some of the visitor characteristics and visitor activity for each local municipality. So that's never existed in Niagara before. And I get those questions a lot. And we've kind of cracked that case, and we're able to now provide that. So it's also going to provide a lot of local insights in terms of local dynamics in tourism, which is also very important in terms of understanding the bigger picture.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Councillor Foster.
Yeah, thank you, Chair, and through to the delegation. By the way, I love data, so it's really good actually to go and see this being used together. Just to take a minor step back. So the intention of this is to provide really a solid database of information to help within tourism in general within Niagara. I think that's fair to say. Is the focus of this more towards the municipal side of things, like we're trying to provide those destination marketing, as you had mentioned, or how do other organizations, how are they going to get involved with this? As a for instance, service clubs do all sorts of event planning within Niagara. And some of the data that I think you're going to be pulling would be of convenience to them. How broad a scope is this going to be, I guess, is really the question.
Great question through you, Chair. I would respond by saying we did at TPN fairly extensive research over the course of the last 2.5 years or so through the development both of our strategic plan as well as through positioning research that we conducted in 2024. And we identified through our vast stakeholder network that includes not only municipalities, but also, of course, destination marketing organizations, municipalities, EDO offices, BIAs, chambers, all the way down to operators. And it's those businesses too that drove a lot of this. But I think David touched on it, just the importance of data-informed background and foundation in order to make decisions. So I think we took, Councillor, to your question, a very broad perspective in terms of formulating a framework that would support that level of decision making. So, Blake, you may want to carry this on a little bit further, but as far as the granularity of the data goes, I would say it's very much sort of like step back at a regional level with some local municipal insights, some sectoral insights, and some other performance-related insights, but not so granular that we focus too much on any one sector, business, or individual. Do you have anything to add there, Blake?
Yes, please. Through the chair. So most tourism data is available at the regional level, so which is why it's been challenging getting generating a lot of the local insights. But with this partnership, now working with the TPN and Niagara Parks, I'm getting to see a lot more of the granular data and how it can be applied more at the local level and how we can kind of be able to do more for the local communities in terms of providing this information. So that being said, we do our best to try and share local insights. But it's a real challenge because most of the economic data and tourism data is available regionally. But given some of these data products that we do have access to, we'll do what we can in order to be able to provide local insights as well to support the smaller, more localized operators.
Through you, Madam Chair, yes, thank you. And I was thinking of just the recent St. Catharines Rib Fest that went on. They bring in people from all over Ontario to go to that, and it's a huge draw. And I would like to see all that type of data being included within this database in some form or another, to make sure that everything is really caught. I think. Because I think there's other areas that can be of value to that. So anyway, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Next, we have Councillor Olson.
Yes, thank you, Chair. And through you, there's a number of things that are going on in the world right now, and I would call them complicating factors for tourism, starting with the aging population, the affordability issues, and some of the trade issues. I was just wondering what sort of predictive and forward-looking data that you're collecting to show that the impact of these things on tourism. 5.3 is a pretty substantial growth rate to have, and I just wondered if that is sustainable given we have those other factors at play. Thank you.
So through the chair, that's an excellent question because I recently did an annual update on tourism with the TPN. And what we found is that the tourism economy is outpacing the entire regional economy in terms of growth. So over the past year, tourism has grown at around just over 3% GDP, whereas our total regional economy is just over 1%. So tourism GDP is outpacing, economic growth in total in terms of the region. And this trend is actually consistent both provincially and nationally as well. So this was a big surprise when I actually started looking into the numbers, and tourism is actually faring very well despite all of these, geopolitical issues and other challenges that many of the other sectors are facing right now, I think tourism is actually weathering it very well, and we're actually better off now than we were a year ago. So that may go against what many people may believe. However, if you talk to the operators and you look at the data, it's actually quite positive right now.
Yes, thank you, Chair. And another comment, another question I could. I don't believe that we ever fully recovered from COVID. And I'm also of the sensation that I think the tourism industry was one of the first to recover when we came out of COVID, which makes it a extremely valuable asset for the region. Is that true?
So from a recovery perspective, in terms of visitors and expenditures, we're now doing better than we were pre-COVID. However, what we have seen are fewer jobs. So that's where we've seen some of the kind of sectoral restructuring. Companies are doing more with fewer people. However, what we're also seeing is that although there are fewer jobs, the jobs are better and they're paying more. So there was some, major sectoral restructuring coming out of COVID. But like I said, it had more to do impact on employment, less of an impact in terms of the business's bottom lines. So prior to COVID, we were at about 42,000 total tourism jobs throughout the region in 2019. And now, as Daryl mentioned in the presentation, we're at about 36,000. And that's remained consistent now for the last 2 years.
Thank you for that. And through you, Chair, does that mean that productivity improved? I believe that I'm seeing the smaller non-legacy companies are much better able to respond to change than some of the larger legacy companies that we seem to protect so well and ignore the smaller companies. So my final question, Chair, thank you.
That is also a great question. And yes, the smaller companies tend to be more nimble. What's very interesting in tourism is that the sector itself has some of the largest companies, private companies that we actually have in Niagara in terms of total employees. So if you look at like the top 25 businesses by employee count, like the top 10 or 15 are tourism operators. So there are quite a few larger employers in the sector. However, small businesses still make up the bulk of businesses in the sector. So there are really interesting dynamics in tourism, especially as it pertains to like employment size among the companies. And tourism is quite unique versus most of the other kind of sectors of our economy in Niagara.
Thank you, Chair. That was my final question. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Olson. I see no one else waiting to speak, so I wonder if I can get a mover and seconder for item 6.1, ED 10-2026. We have Councillor Gannan and Councillor Whittleby. Is there any further discussion on the presentation? Councillor Whittleby.
Yeah, through Madam Chair, just a quick question to Blake. So we have the province wanting to double our intake of tourism, which I find kind of interesting, and we're looking at a 5% growth. So I'm not sure how we're going to double up that quickly. But do you believe that with having this dashboard and this data, like just-in-time data, will help excel the industry, just because you'll know where to, I guess, put your efforts forward? I know Niagara Parks has got great initiatives down the road that will probably add to this number that the province is hoping that we can somehow get here and get them out. So I'm just wondering, is this going to be part of the motivation? That being part of the motivation, and then going to the province saying, look, this is, now we have just-in-time data, and then you can use that to leverage opportunities at the provinces. That's, I guess that would be the question.
I'm just going to defer this one to David Adames.
Okay.
No, it's a great question. So so yes, to make the database decisions with the data dashboard will be really important. What we see in Niagara is the same as what we see across the country. It's a very seasonal business today. So even at Niagara Parks, 80% of our business comes from May to October. So where growth will come will be the shoulder seasons. So we need to look for business opportunities to grow fall, winter, spring. So right now, many operators are running at capacity in the summer months. Now, there could be some other times like evening product. So again, doing the data dashboard will help us understand what's motivating the trip behavior, where investment's been happening. So evening product to extend stay, the overnight stays, and then seasonal product, fill in the shoulder seasons of fall, winter, and spring. But again, let's use the data to make those decisions to move it forward.
Okay, through Madam Chair, thank you, David, for that, and that's kind of what I was looking for, and I knew that the Niagara Parks were working on that, so thank you for that. Nothing further.
Thanks, Councillor. Next, we have Councillor Olson.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I think this is a case where our investment is going to pay off. And we're making investments all the time in transportation and that type of thing, and efforts to improve our GO connections with Toronto and different places. I think I think this council's made some pretty wise investments and to make this possible. So I'm totally in support of this. And the collection of data, of course, is something that's really going to be important. And the other thing I would mention is the fact memberships in different organizations that allow us to measure our own measure ourselves against other people. And I imagine that that's part of this. And I'm not asking a question, but I'm making a comment that would be a desirable thing. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Olson. I see no other speakers at this time, so I'll call the question. Please vote electronically. And that's carried. I'd like to thank our speakers. Thank you, gentlemen, for bringing this information to us. It sounds pretty exciting. Thank you again.
Thank you.
I'd like to move on now to 6.2, which is with Eric Chow, Manager, Trade and Investment, for the presentation respecting investment attraction and the update. Thank you, Eric.
Great, thank you. Good afternoon, Chair and councillors. Thanks for the opportunity to provide my second update for 2026. There we go. So last time I addressed the committee was March 11th of this year, and since then we've had 9 new leads, 12 new opportunities. So it is, again, an ongoing process of ensuring that we're out in the marketplace, talking to companies and just understanding what their needs are. And so, as I think I've mentioned before, leads are just kind of those warm inquiries. Opportunities are where we've actually provided potential site opportunities to these clients, and we continue to follow up. With the current world situation, a lot of companies are just not willing to make a decision right away. So they gather the information and then they sit on it. And, we can follow up with them and they're still kind of waiting to see where is the stability. But that is also where Niagara, Ontario, and Canada excel, is the fact that we are considered a very stable country. So our opportunities will certainly, build on that. One of the opportunities I did speak about at the last update was Project Fender, valued at about $100 million. What we have learned from the company is that has actually increased to $350 million, about 120 jobs. They're still in their due diligence, and as I just said, taking a lot longer, but they have also been apprised of another site in Niagara, so now they're doing the due diligence on that site as well. As part of our activities, we do participate in a number of foreign activities. This spring, I participated in a Global Affairs Canada Investment Trade Roadshow to Tokyo and Seoul. Great opportunity for us as we have secured Asahi Kasei. They are very good. They were actually at the event hosted by Global Affairs Canada, and actually one of their executives was a speaker welcoming the delegation and did speak about their fact that they had landed in Port Colborne in Niagara region. So they were very good in providing us introductions, and that's what we want to do. We want to continue building on those relationships with Asahi Kasei and then having them introduce us to their either suppliers or other actually just business colleagues that, you know, they speak to a very good experience here in Niagara. We also then went to Seoul, which is an interesting marketplace because this trip actually took place prior to Prime Minister Mark Carney announcing who had successfully won the subcontract. I would suggest that if we were to go back to Seoul right now, we might not be received as favorably. But it was a good visit there because this was, as I said, prior to that announcement. One of the activities we did locally or domestically was we attended CANSEC, which is Canada's Defence Conference in Ottawa. Very interesting opportunity there is a lot of the major international prime defense contractors were present, had the opportunity to meet the individuals on their teams who are responsible for the Industrial Technology Benefits Program. And that is what we call the ITB programs. Those are very interesting for us because our Niagara companies can support foreign companies in meeting their ITB requirements. That's the word I was looking for, requirements. Also, again, at CANSEC, met with TKMS, who I have a very good relationship with, and then Hanwha Ocean, trying to build that discussion at that time. And then also in discussions with Korean drone maker, who is actually also now talking to Niagara College as part of their Defense Systems Engineering Technology program. So some great synergies there. I've attended a lot of trade shows in my time. What I found about CANSEC was that as the salesperson in the room or walking the floor, a lot of these vendors were very interested in talking to us. They wanted to understand what we had to offer. And, you know, the sales pitch for Niagara at the time to them would be the fact that we have a very strong advanced manufacturing sector that can supply a prime or a tier one contractor who is going to deliver a final product to the Canadian military. And if they need a region to deliver, it's us, because we have the capacity to deliver the parts to them. So it was a very good opportunity. Another trade show that we attended was Hanover Messe, and this would have been our fourth year in a row. As you may know, I attended in 2025, which was Canada's partner year. We were on Showcase. An interesting development out of that was the fact in March of 2025, Destiny Copper, who is in Thorold, was also an exhibitor. Because I had the opportunity to meet the indirect ITB managers from TKMS, the sub-company, understand what they were looking for, I had the opportunity to introduce them to Destiny Copper on the show floor in 2025. In March of 2026, Destiny Copper and TKMS signed an MOU for Destiny Copper to supply and work with TKMS. With the announcement on July 6th of Prime Minister Carney announcing TKMS as the winning sub-company, Destiny Copper is now potentially in line to receive just under $100 million in investment because of the ability of Destiny Copper to meet some of the ITB requirements of that program, of the sub-program. So that, I think, is a great story. It's about us as Niagara being out in the marketplace, understanding what our foreign clients prospects need, and then being able to match them with our Niagara companies. Another announcement which you may have heard is Volstapine Railway Systems. They made an announcement a couple months ago about the fact that they are going to be moving into Thorold, so congratulations to Mayor Ugolini and his team, that they will be opening up a small shop. It's actually phase one from what we understand. Small investment of only $10 million. But the fact is, as they build their reputation and their client base here in Canada, that is only phase one. We do know that they've got a number in mind for phase two. So some great opportunities there and great successes. Coming back to more local activities, we do host a number of individual site inspections as well as delegations. We did have the opportunity at the end of March to host an inquiry from the Mars Discovery District in Toronto, where they had a UK manufacturing delegation, which is basically startups from UK, mostly technology companies. They came down and saw some of the local companies here in Niagara. We also, through Matt McGinty and ourselves, as Matt's responsible for our agricultural file, we hosted 8 Norwegian agri-food technology companies. And what we understand is 2 of those companies are actually in discussions now with some local Niagara companies for pilot projects. That's a number of those companies are coming back this fall to attend the Canadian Greenhouse Conference, which is in Niagara Falls. So great opportunities and partnerships, not just in advanced manufacturing, but also in the agricultural file as well. So this is just some of the pictures from that Mars UK agri-food. And again, thank you to Councillor Ganan, who was acting chair at the time. She did provide welcoming remarks from council when we first greeted them at Vineland Research Institute. One of the activities that has been taking up a good portion of time has been our defense sector work. As we all know, defense is the buzz of the time right now. For me, promoting and supporting the defense sector in Niagara is about being able to go out and talk to foreign companies about we have a great regional supply chain. So I want to see our local companies be prepared, get their certifications, and be ready to support that build out. So we've been spending some time on April 27th. We hosted a defense sector workshop, which had federal government defense representatives, provincial representatives talking about what that defense market's going to look like. We then had 3 local manufacturers who are already in that sector talk about their experience so that the people in the room, which was over 50 Niagara manufacturers, to hear what it took to be in that sector, because it's not easy. You have to make a concerted effort to want to be in that marketplace. After the 3rd session was about funding from FedDev, MedCat, as well as the BDC, because as we know, BDC now has quite a sizable fund that they can invest in defense industry. And then in follow-up to that event on April 27th, just recently, July 16th, we had Bernie Darrable, who is the Ontario Military Defense Representative appointed by Premier Ford here in the region. He gave a very good plenary to the, we had 40 companies represented, over 60 individuals in the room, and to really talk to them about kind of what they need to do in the defense sector. So a great shout out. And after that, we actually toured Bernie around and showcased some of the defense companies, which was fantastic. And thank you to Council Chair Seaborn for bringing remarks at the beginning of that event as well. So just kind of, for the remainder of the year, our activities, again, follow up on our FDI prospects, continued targeted lead generation in key sectors, diplomatic delegations, FAM tours. We continue those activities. We still have 2 more international trips to go on. We will be representing Niagara at MSPO Poland, which is the International Defense Conference. Canada is a partner country, so again, there'll be a lot of interest in Canada, so we'll be there representing Niagara, and then we're also participating in another signature event by Global Affairs Canada in Milan, Italy, which is actually in the life sciences sector. So also trying to build out that sector. Thank you to Councillor Morocco. In the most recent 2-3 weeks, she's actually referred to us to 4 Chinese companies that are looking to North America, and we've had meetings with them and had the opportunity to express to them why they should be locating in Niagara. So great opportunities, and again, those are things that we continue following up on. And it's been a very busy year. So I think that's the end of my presentation.
Well, thank you so much. Are there any questions to our presenter today? Councillor Morocco.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Eric, thank you so much for the presentation, the update. And I have to say, that I wish I would have maybe participated in some of your presentations earlier, but this was my opportunity for these groups that were coming in from China that were looking to invest. And it's some pretty serious investment. And we've had meetings both with the region and city of Niagara Falls staff too. I just want to say that I was extremely impressed with the regional staff, the economic development, Eric and the team there, the presentation that they prepared, um, just the overall commitment, and not only that, but just the information that they provided. Extremely very professional. I was very, very impressed. So, and I've only participated in the last couple of meetings there at the region. I don't usually ever go, and actually, it was the first time I'd ever been to the second floor to the offices. So, anyway, I guess we really kind of keep in our lane when it comes to that. But I just want to say, like, very well done, very professional, and the comments from the individuals that left the meetings after meeting both were very impressed with the region and what they had to offer, and also your support to be backing up and giving them more information, also in regards to visas and getting them back and forth to come back again. And I know the invitation was there for you as well to visit China. China is a great market, and I'll just give everybody else on this feed here that's on there is that China is really moving away from doing business with the United States. Some of them already, these companies, most of them do have companies in the United States, but they're feeling very unsettled with the leadership at the United States. And they feel that Canada is the country to look at doing business with, setting up businesses as well, because we have a very good relationship with the UK market and other countries aside from the US. So I just wanted to put that out there. So anyway, again, congratulations and thank you very much for a job well done, Eric, and your team. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. She meant to ask you as well if you agree.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yes.
It's all right. I caught you on that one. No problem. We now have Councillor Olson.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the presentation. When you're looking at the visits, what's the nature of the business combinations they're looking for? Is it as suppliers or partnerships? You've mentioned suppliers and partnerships. Are there mergers and acquisitions as well, part of this?
Through the chair, certainly mergers and acquisitions, not necessarily as much. The focus is really on finding new established foreign manufacturers looking to enter the North American market and having them choose Niagara for new facilities. That being said, if we are talking to investors that are looking to acquire companies, we're happy to talk to them. But I would say that locally, we're not as well plugged in, and maybe that's somewhere where this committee could help in terms of local knowledge, understanding what companies in Niagara, what owners are looking to potentially sell their business, right? Because that's not something I delve into on a regular basis, so I don't have that knowledge. But if I've got companies saying they're interested in buying something in Niagara, I try to keep an eye on it. 2 years ago, I was with Global Affairs on an investment roadshow in Taiwan. Talked to a company, a startup company. They were looking for. They were in the bioalgae growing business, and they said, we're looking for someone who has a number of tanks. I'm thinking, okay, well, vineyards have tanks. Just put out a few feelers. Hey, does anyone know of any vineyards that are being sold? So got a couple back, sent that off to the prospect, and he said, great, thanks. They talked, didn't work out. So those opportunities do come. It's just, it's not something I'm hyper-focused on just because I don't have that feel for the local market.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for that answer. I only offer that as a suggestion because it's faster. It's generally much more secure, and it's something that I've worked with in the past, and it's makes quite a difference if we had a list of the type of companies. And of course, you got you got the complications of generic information and private, and priority information and proprietary information as well. So then my next question is, there's a lot of global trends in the world, and one of them is standardization and more electronics and more features and things, along with net results and things like robotics and things, drones and that type of thing. One of the ones I've noticed has been optics and imaging and sighting systems for weaponry. Is if we got down to the level of gun sight type of things were for military applications?
Through the chair, we haven't actually gotten down to that granularity. However, I will say the launch of the Defense Systems Engineering Technologies program at Niagara College has actually shone a very bright light on Niagara, and that there are a lot of drone companies that have reached out to us and to Niagara College. It's been a really good kind of synergy between us, because we've gotten the requests for introductions to the Niagara College and the program, because they want to be involved, they want to understand what they're doing. Companies are considering locating in Niagara because of that program. But then again, Niagara College has actually received inquiries from companies to say, hey, you're going to have students. Where can we find a piece of land where we could open up? I will say Niagara has a very strong asset, which I think collectively we need to promote, is the Dorothy Rumling Airport, because of the unrestricted airspace. That is an asset that nowhere else in Canada has. Well, I guess Alberta does, but that's Alberta. In terms of proximity to market, to knowledge, we have a very big asset there. Back to your point about specific gun sites, I haven't had those inquiries, and I will say I know FBT is working with Colt Canada on their guns. I don't know if specifically if they're working on gun sites. I think they're actually more of the firing mechanism.
Well, thank you, Chair. But that's changed entirely. The whole sighting and imaging has changed entirely, and it's not the old traditional eyesight thing. It's it's where the eyes go, and not where the weapon goes. So I'll just leave it at that. That's an editorial comment. I'll leave it with it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Olson. I see no other speakers at this time. Can I get Councillor Morocco to move and Councillor Greenwood to second the report, please? Okay, thank you. And can I call for a vote at this time, please?
Thank you.
Okay. And that's carried. Thank you. We have another, if we could, please. Is there a mover and seconder for item 6.3 ED9 2026, which is our economic development update? Councillor Ukulele. And how about Councillor Olson? Thank you. Does anybody want to speak to this report? Seeing none. Oh, sorry, Councillor Redekop. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Is it possible to get a breakdown of the physicians that were recruited as referred to in the report, and perhaps an indication of where they're located now?
I'm sure we can. Thank you.
Sorry, through the through the chair. At this point, I don't have the actual breakdown, Councillor Redekop, but I know that we are bringing in a number of them this year, and happy to consult with our physician recruiter and determine and get back to you with the specifics of what communities we're seeing them locate to. But I can assure
great. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much.
They're going across the region. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions to the report? Then I'll call the question and ask you to vote electronically. And that's carried. At this time, I would also like to just backtrack and apologize for not thanking our speaker, Eric, for his presentation. I think we all really enjoyed finding out what's happening in the Economic Development Department these days. Do we have any other items of new business at this point? I'm seeing none. So the next meeting will be held on Wednesday, September 9th, 2026 at 1 o'clock in the Council Chamber, Regional Headquarters. In the meantime, there being no further business, this meeting is now adjourned, and I thank you.